Larry Hoover, the undisputed chairman and leader of the Gangster Disciple Street Gang, he was in federal court 2 days ago trying to get some time shaved off his sentence. He's been serving jail time for a long time. This guy been locked up for a long time and then got re-sentenced again in like 1998 because the feds said he was still running his gang. They put bugs inside of like the IDs of people who was coming to see Hoover, and they caught him having conversations about still running the street gangs. They hit him with an even more bigger charge. Now he facing multiple life sentences, racketeering charges, and all kind of stuff. He been locked up for a long time. We finally got a chance to see him. A federal judge hasn't seen Larry Hoover in 20, 30 years. He's been in that ADX in Colorado, that super max prison. He finally got a chance for a federal judge to look at him, see his body, see how he look.
Gang kingpin Larry Hoover is making a long shot bid for his release. He's 73 years old now. Made his first public court appearance in years today, speaking to a district judge via video conference. He was given a life sentence back in 1998 for racketeering, prison, while serving time for murder. His legal team is pushing for a resentencing under the First Step Act. That's a 2018 law signed by President Donald Trump at the time that made certain sentencing reforms retroactive.
We finna talk about this. Hit the like button. Go on this video, 1,000 likes. Because at first I felt like maybe Hoover gonna come home. But that judge was pretty tough on Hoover. It was a federal courtroom, so it was no cameras in there. All they released was like an updated sketch. Remember, no cameras in a federal courtroom, so you have to deal with sketches. This is an updated sketch of Larry Hoover. It looks like he's pretty older now. According to his lawyers, he's 73 years old, and he is not no leader of no gang. He done been gave that up, and his family saying that the government don't want to accept the fact that Hoover not like that no more. He tried to change his life. He even changed Gangster Disciple to Growth and Development. He put out new literature, but the government don't want to accept him changing his life. The government want to keep him boxed in as this gangbanger thug that he was years ago. Okay?
I'm a completely different person than the man who went to prison in 1997, Hoover said in a low voice. I'm very reflective here at ADX. You're locked up at least 21 hours a day. I have no desire to run the GDs or to be involved in any criminal activity. I'm past that part of my life.
When he got in that courtroom, the judge got a chance to finally look at Hoover, look at his face, see if he has scratches on him, look at his body, see his humped up bones, see that this guy is not even capable of being the leader of a street gang anymore. In Chicago, people don't listen to their own mamas, their own daddies. They don't give a fuck about the police. They smacking up their baby mamas. Ain't nobody finna listen to Hoover. I'm not sure if people understand that. Yeah, he still could be a leader, but as far as stopping the violence, I'm not sure if Hoover has that power, in my opinion, with the way the world is now. A judge got a chance to look at Hoover to see if he was being mistreated, beaten, or anything like that. He wasn't allowed to come to Chicago and step inside the courtroom. We thought he was going to be able to come in the courtroom, but the government shut that down. So come finding out, he did it via video conference from the Colorado maximum penitentiary that he been in. But, it was a camera. A judge got a chance to look at him and see how he look at his body and look at him. A lot of people say, they stopped him from going in that courtroom because he had an opportunity to tell the judge, the warden or this guy, that guy, them people in there mistreating me. They doing this shit, they doing that stuff there, but he didn't get a chance. A lot of people feel like it might have been some people inside of the prison with Larry Hoover behind the camera, like, if you say something, we're going to beat the fuck out you. Say something. So we don't know if his talk was still censored. But he was in the courtroom via video camera. He spoke. He said he want to come home. He said he is not a gang leader no more. He said he's an older man. He want a chance to live the rest of his life home and don't understand why he won't get a chance. Donald Trump did a thing called the First Step Act, where it kind of pardoned criminals who might have got a harsh sentence a little while ago. Laws and changed since Hoover been locked up.
While we recognize the seriousness of the offenses for which he's convicted, we believe that there's been evolving attitudes about excessively harsh sentences, and that life in prison at ADX is basically just being buried alive.
And a lot of people feel like Hoover been locked up a long time ago. And remember, a long time ago, there's a lot of racism, a lot of crooked polices and shit. So anybody who got locked up 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, you might got to question that sentence, because it was a lot of crookedness going on. Gang banging was coming out and people didn't really know what to expect. Remember, a lot of people from that time caught a lot of time. Think about Fred Hampton, one of the Black Panther leaders. They looked at him as a gang member. They looked at him as a thug, all kind of stuff. 40, 50 years later, it's a street named after him. So people who was looked at bad years ago ain't looked at like that no more. So a lot of people look at Hoover as a political leader. And a lot of people put the murders on Hoover. Hoover was locked up for murder as part in a murder. They say he put a hit out on a person. Normally when you get a murder, you do about 40, 50 years. That's about how long he been in there. So people want to know what's going on. Can he get some time saved? What's going on with this? Remember, he still got another murder case that he got to deal with. But this is the start. If he can get this sentence shaved down to about another 5 years, where he know this shit is over with in 5 years, and then he fight that murder charge that he caught years ago, Hoover might be home within the next 10 years, if possible. Maybe be able to live some time in his life now. But the feds ain't as easy going as we think. When he stepped in that courtroom, a federal judge asked him, how many people you think you responsible for getting killed? He was shocked. According to he was like, what? He was shocked. The state tend to say every murder that happened by a gangster disciple happened because of him, because he started this shit. He put this out here. He's one of Chicago's most dangerous gang members. His influence messed the whole city up. He's responsible for hundreds of thousands of murders, is what the government's saying. His lawyers are saying that's not true. This guy paid his time and did his time for anything he did wrong. Anybody else who committed crimes didn't commit it because of Larry Hoover. Larry Hoover been locked up for a long time. You can't put that on him, just like you can't put every murder in the city in America on the people who made the guns. Even though guns killed them, and it's a person who made the guns, you can't put every murder on the person who made the guns, just like you can't put every murder on the person who made GDs. And that's what the government tried to do. And they actually asked Hoover that and want him to answer that question. How many people you think he murdered? Hoover lawyer said they need time to come up with that answer. It shocked them. So the judge told them, I'm going to give y'all about a week or 2 weeks to come up with an answer. But next time you come in my courtroom, I want to know the answer to that. And, Hoover and them going to be back in that courtroom in October via video again. But she going to speak to him again in October. Hoover might get a chance to get that sentence shaved, or she might deny. According to the feds, they say Hoover don't need no time shaved. They said if he'd have did what he did right now, at this moment, in this era, he'd have caught the same mandatory life sentence that he caught back in the day.
Indeed, if he were sentenced today, Hoover would receive the same mandatory life sentence.
A lot of people say we don't know, hypothetically don't mean none, especially when you're doing life in prison and the Supermax ADX. That's almost like being buried alive.
The feds arguing, quote, Hoover has well earned his life sentence, and he is not the type of defendant Congress intended to benefit in enacting the First Step Act.
A lot of people say whatever crimes this man committed, 30, 40, 50 years is enough time to serve for whatever crime this man committed.
Larry Hoover's loved ones and attorneys, along with many supporters, arguing that Hoover is a changed man and can do much good if he's released.
It was good to hear his voice. It sounds like, to me, he was a bit nervous, but, it's his life that he's dealing with.
He is not associated with a gang and hasn't been for many, many decades. But he probably has some insights into how we can make life better for young people so that they don't turn to gang.
But the police saying, nah, this guy was still running gangs, still was a gang leader. He hired a hit to get somebody killed, and he was still running the gangs, getting people killed while he was inside the jails, So a lot of people say, yeah, Hoover might have been crooked and did criminal things, but y'all did criminal things to arrest him. Like y'all tricked him, y'all put bugs in his friends' IDs and all kind of stuff. If you're gonna lock a man up, you lock him up justly. You don't lock a man up unjustly. If you put bugs in his IDs, we don't know if you convince them people to try to get Hoover to say things or anything. Entrapping a man ain't really law. That's kind of like some scam shit, in my opinion. But it is what it is. But I wanted to bring that to your attention. Larry Hoover is 73 years old. This is not no young man that's out here when he sees some nigga, man, y'all better have that money, I'm gonna slap y'all ass up. This is an older man who back is crushed up, back, he barely can walk, he got all kind of diabetes and all kind of stuff, and they still acting like this guy's a gang leader. Sad. But he'll be back in the courtroom in October. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on this. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, it's Tell Me the Truth.